All right, here we are once again for the next episode of A Conversation with Kely. This, of course, is episode 10, and we got quite an interesting episode to talk about, of course, with the fake double eviction in Big Brother Canada. But before we do, I am, of course, joined by my lovely co-host, Aly. How are you doing on this this fine, well, kind of, for you, morning. For me, it's afternoon. For Pranay, it's for our guest, it's another time. But it's all good. Either way, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm still a little tired, but I'm good though.
That's good. I'm very excited to talk about it because it's quite an interesting one for sure. But before we do get into that, we do have a guest here that I'm very excited to have on. He is truly one of the nicest people in this community, who I am very happy to consider a good friend of mine, someone who has always had my back. You're in a game with this guy. He's going to be a great ally to you, and we're very happy to have him on our podcast. He's been watching us for a little bit now. Here he is, Pranay.
Hey, thanks for having me. I've been waiting to come on this for a while. It's exciting.
Yes. We're very happy to have you on for sure. But before we do get into this episode, just Pranay, brief thoughts on this season so far. How are you feeling about it? Do you like it? Do you like where it's headed? All that kind of stuff.
I'm really grateful for BB Cam 9.
Yes.
I know we have had a rough patch with Big Brother, like Big Brother 21, then the All Stars, then also with the last 2 seasons of Big Brother. I mean, the last one got completely cancelled. And even before that, BB Can 7, although it had some great players, but then it had such a one-sided gameplay that I didn't get to enjoy it that much.
Right, that was the Pretty Boys season, right? Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But then, seldom comes a season where you actually think that everyone has a legit shot at winning.
Yes.
And for me, not only the strategy matters, I'm also a lover of characters, which this season has given me so many people to root for, and we have seen some great gameplay, some great strategy, some bad gameplays, and it has like
more bad than good at this point. But that's why it's fun to watch.
Sure. And when a season it evokes so many emotions out of you, you root for people, you get angry at people, and you literally you just want to hold your favorite character and shake them, what on earth are you doing? So which this season is doing, and I'm loving every bit of it.
Yes, and the way you just described this season is kind of how to describe this episode. There was some great gameplay, there was some not great gameplay, but in everything, this is definitely a very eventful episode that I'm very excited to talk about. So we're just gonna get right into it. I will say right off the bat, the one thing that did really annoy me about this episode is that it took fucking forever to actually get to the eviction. There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, and I would understand if there was a lot of campaigning happening and things like that, but it was pretty obvious what was going to happen, so it was very annoying. But we are still going to get through everything that happened. So we see after Jed has taken himself off the block, Beth is very shocked. She's actually safe and going to the final 5. Meanwhile, Jed feels this is the right move for both of them. Oh, how the naivety, because very much not the case, I would say. But Breydon on the other hand,
definitely not.
Yeah, Breydon on the other hand is really acting like he feels bad for Jed and Beth, but in reality, he's thrilled to see one of them go because he's very much in on the plan. He knew he was going up, and Breydon throughout most of this episode, and I say most because you probably know what I'm referring to. Throughout most of the episode, absolutely. I really like the way he handled things. I think this week he handled things really well with making it seem like he was on their side, that he was in the dark. I thought he did a really good job with that, and especially when Tera goes to him after the ceremony, and she says that while this is a crazy move, if Jed goes here, she's in a very strong position for the end game, and I don't know about that, Tera. I don't know about that. But we see this moment where basically the sauce, or at least what was the Sunsetters, they're all celebrating. But unbeknownst to Jed and Beth, the other two are celebrating for successfully orchestrating the move. Jed is still feeling like he's okay here, and that Tera believes that they're all gunning for each other, and Jed just hopes they all vote his way. And Pranay, what do you think of the way that Jed really handles this week? His naivety and everything. What do you think?
As much as I'm frustrated with Jedson, but then I can also feel where he's coming from.
Oh,
I mean, if you just like take examples from our org experiences, I have played long-term orgs where I have blindly trusted people and where I was sure that they would not turn on me no matter what. I think I won't blame Jedson because he thought that like Tychon and Beth would never turn on him, like no matter what. Kiefer was still questionable for him because he put him up the previous week, but then there was no way in his mind that Tychon would take a shot at him.
Yeah.
You know what? There was an interesting observation from my end. I feel the fact that Jedson gave up the veto on Beth, that is what triggered Tychon to take the shot at him.
Yeah.
If Beth had won the veto by herself and take herself off the block, and Jedson would have stayed, I still don't know how Tychon would have reacted. But then the fact that I think Tychon was surprised and also annoyed with the audacity of Jedson to sit on the block, and that's an unforgivable crime. So nobody can blame Tychon and anybody else. That is the
and Ty said earlier in the week that like if he had won that veto, that he wasn't going to use it. So like I feel like even if that had happened, he probably still would want to go for Jed because he made it very clear like I want to get one of them out this week. They're standing in my way.
Yes, and also when you use your safety on someone, not only you are solidifying that she is your final two, you're also telling to everyone that you are confident about yourself, that you are so well connected that nobody would take you out. And that kind of overconfidence just doesn't sit well with people. So I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised with this.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when Tera the whole week is pitching how like Jed has the biggest shot to win. And then he goes and does that. It's like, that's the biggest red flag there, that like he has the shot to win. Because if he feels he can do that and get out completely unscathed, that shows right there that like he is way too overconfident. And so I can't blame Ty at all for what he did. It sucks that he had to do it, but it had to be done.
Especially sitting against Breydon, like no offense to Breydon. Breydon is someone who I was rooting for, who I'm still rooting for. I love that he will do something. But yes, we love Breydon. But then by that time, Breydon didn't have a single thing on his resume other than his social game. So
he's also both times sat on the block has gone out. The other person's gone out unanimously. So like, it was always a bad pitch.
That's true. Yeah.
So if you are the biggest target in the house and you're sitting next to someone who has the smallest or lowest resume, it doesn't make sense. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, really not smart at all. Really not smart at all. But anyways, you have the next note.
Beth goes to Brain, says he's shocked about Beth and assures him Jed wasn't in charge of this, but they're going to make him think he was. He says people will see this as her big move because she's safe again. However, in reality, Bray feels this is a weak spot for her because she feels nobody sees her for doing any big moves, and he wants to use this against her and I'm convinced that evicting Jed is a big resume move.
Yeah, and this was a really good conversation that he had with her because it shows that even though Breydon hasn't really done a lot in the game, he has really good game awareness. And the one thing about you can see is that she is so concerned that, I've done nothing. I haven't made any moves in this game. She doesn't have that confidence, which is weird because it feels like everything this week she's taking credit for. So it's like, it's really interesting the way he worked on her this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? The only thing that I would say about this part is that I mean, we all know that Beth is problematic. Definitely, she has said some very questionable things. But then I really can't fault her gameplay because I think I hate to go into survivor mode because like I'm a big survivor fan. I have to go there. But then at least she's not delusional. If we take the example of someone like Laurel from Survival Ghost Island, where she literally thought that she could beat Wendell and Dominic, and she went to the end with both of them. That's delusional. Or at least Beth knows that there's no way she can win against Jedson. So she knows that she has to cut him. And as we would find out later, although the jury hates Beth's social game and they find her very annoying to be around, they still respect her gameplay. Like Victoria respects her gameplay and she literally says that she's playing the best game. So I would at least have to applaud Beth for having some self-awareness that although she's taking so much credit to herself, but then she knows that she can't win against the boys and she has to separate her moves from the boys.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely does have really good game awareness, and I do think she has a legitimate shot to win, but we also talked about this earlier in the week. She's doing way too fucking much, and I think she wants so badly to, like, be the villain of the season, but if you're gonna do that, you gotta do it a lot more subtly than she's doing, and that's for her.
Yeah. Right now she's playing a character, so that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like she was not subtle at all at the start of the week. Not at all.
Yeah, not really.
Jed and Ty talk things out, and Jed says he feels Kiefer may be teaming up with the other side of the house. And Ty says, though, he hasn't heard Bray's pitch yet. They've all been playing this game together. They've always said they were going to get to the Final Four.
And again, it's like, no shit he's playing with the other side of the house. Ty knows this, and obviously Jed doesn't. But, like, again, the naivety in Jed this week, you gotta feel bad. You gotta feel bad for him, because it's like he legitimately did not know how against, like, Kiefer and Ty really were with him at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's just absurd. And what I also noticed that I know in Jed's mind, he feels that he's good with Tychon, but then based on what I have read from the live feed summaries, like he hasn't solidified a final two with Tychon since week 3. And we are right now at week 8 or something like that. So that's 5 weeks in between. And a lot of things happen in 5 weeks. So
there wasn't a showman.
Exactly. When you're isolating yourself with Beth, who I understand is also in the trio, but then of course Tychon would feel insecure. Of course Tychon would look for himself. Of course he would make sure that he has some other allies. Of course he would go to Breydon. So when you are only completely isolating with Beth, don't be surprised if the third person in your trio would look out for himself. That 100%. Is like completely lack of self-awareness on Jedson's part.
Yeah, no, for sure. He definitely should have at least thought, like, maybe there's a chance Ty's not with me. And I think he just, again, was just way too overconfident at this point, and we really do still see that here.
Yeah, he was feeling way too comfortable.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Ty is very unsure whether or not he wants to actually evict Jed this week because of how truly loyal he is to them. And does he really want to evict him for saving them? Jed says this would be the most devastating way for him to go. But Ty assures him he has him.
And I saw people talking about this on Twitter. This was bullshit to me. Like, I don't think there was any doubt in Ty's head that he's going for Jed this week. I feel like this is just something that the editors really wanted to play up. They wanted to show, like, oh, Ty feels bad, but, like, this was Ty's villain arc. Like, seriously, Ty is full-on villain. And unlike Beth, it's not obvious that he's doing it. And that's why I think it's working for him.
Yeah.
True. And also feels very natural when Ty does it instead of when Beth does it. Like it just seems like when Beth comes to the DR, she has rehearsed those lines. Like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
only going to be one bad bitch this season, and it's honestly going to be me. Of course, she has rehearsed that 20 times in her mind.
Yeah.
But then
it's very forceful.
Yeah. With Ty, it just seems very natural. His growth has seemed very, very organic throughout the season. And do I think that he feels bad for evicting Jedson? Yes, of course. Like he loves him. That's very apparent. He feels bad on a personal level, but from a game point, I don't think that he feels bad at all, because at the end of the day, he needs to win for himself. And Jedson is such a big obstacle in his course. So
yeah, so Beth and Ty then have this conversation where, you know, she's really worried that Ty is going to waver because of how close him and Jed really are. She thinks that there could potentially be a flip going on. So she wants to be in the know of it. If a flip is going to happen, she wants to be in the know, which I didn't really think she needed to be. Like, I don't know why she needs to have her hand in every single pot, because, like, here's the thing. Even if she doesn't, it's not really going to hurt her game. She's been aligned with Jed the whole time. I don't think she needed to be as in on this as she was. But again, Beth wants to do everything. So she goes to Ty, talks about what they were talking about, and basically tells him if Jed survives this week, the two of them are not winning. And that even if Ty wins the HOH and veto, they would be done. However, if he goes, they have an equal chance to get to the end, which I think is very much true. I think Jed is very much standing in both of their ways. And she says she feels like she's making him look like the biggest idiot in the world, and it's ruthless of her to do. But Ty says that he didn't come here to lose and make friends. And it's sad, but they have a real decision to make. And I like that Ty was being so open with Beth here. But again, I also feel like she didn't really need to know this, because, again, she's worked with Jed. She doesn't really, and especially when he saved her, it's like, why do you need to be as in on things? Again, Beth wants to take credit for everything, and it's really showing here. It's really showing.
Yeah, I know, and I can't agree with you more on this one.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, the only thing which probably is going in her mind is that probably she's thinking that when she makes her final two speech, she's going to say that she was on the right side of the vote every time.
Right.
Which she wasn't with the Latoya eviction. She wasn't. But anyways, I think this is one of the rarest times when it would have been good for Beth to be in the dark, because the fact that she votes off Jedson, her showmans, the person who used his veto on her, and then evicts him, it makes her look more shady to the house guest.
Yeah.
Probably she was afraid that Breydon would be pissed at her for evicting him. But I think Breydon, Kiefer, and Tera, they would be more cautious of Beth for evicting Jed. I think had she voted wrong, it probably would have been good for her gameplay and her reputation.
Yeah, I think so too. It's also really bad, like, jury management on her end, which she has not been cognizant of the whole time. So I'm not surprised that she isn't, too worried about that here. But she goes to Jed and tells him that Ty is lying to him about keeping him this week. I don't know why she said this, but she tells him that he can't freak out and that he can't be surprised about it either. He seems really crushed about it. And again, I'm confused by Beth here, because she goes to Ty, so she's in the know, but then she tells Jed, like, yeah, you should be worried this week. I don't really understand what she was trying to do here. I feel like, again, like you said, it would have been best to just keep her in the dark, and then she could have been the one to comfort Jed, give him the sense that maybe there's hope that he's going to be okay. It just would have been better for her if she does that.
This definitely was hard to watch.
Yeah.
But
yeah, especially this next scene where he goes to Ty feeling like an idiot, saying that he has massive paranoia about what happened. Ty tells him that he used the veto on Beth to save them, and Jed says that if he went home this week, he would never be able to live that down. And Ty says it makes it seem like he should be proud of this move. Jed feels like he needs both of them moving forward, and he wants to get to the end with them, which, yeah, he does, but they don't need him. That's the thing. And Ty says that he's telling Jed what he wants to hear, but it's not smart to keep him around anymore in the end game. And this was definitely a sad conversation to see. You know, these two have had a final two since day one, and we know how close that they've been, but we knew that this move was going to happen. We knew that Ty was going to have this conversation with him eventually. So it was definitely sad to see it, though.
Yeah, and I think Ty handled it as best as he could. He gave him logical reasons. He wasn't too harsh about it. I think he handled it gratefully. I'm sorry to bring it back to Beth, but then that woman annoys me greatly. The way she was crying, and I don't know, she does little things which just makes her seem so ingenuine. Like the whole time she was crying when all four of them were in that bedroom, and the moment Kiefer and Jedson left, she just clinged herself to Ty, like, and I don't know, like it just seems so inauthentic. And and
like what are you even crying about?
Exactly. I don't want to even rush to the later part of the episode, but then I think I'll forget if I don't mention it now. There is this very small thing which happens after the first eviction when Arisa asks all the house guests to, come down to the couch, and Beth just like almost sits on Ty's lap. Like it hasn't even been like a minute, like Jedson has left. Like, girl, just act subtle for a second. So I'm confused with Beth.
Yeah, I don't
think, especially if she wanted to play with to like have this sort of relationship with both of them, she needed to really play up that like isosceles triangle more, because it felt like for a while they both liked her and then she settled for Jed, but now she's like, no, I've been playing him the entire time. I actually like Ty. And it's like, which is it? Like what are you really doing here?
I don't dislike her. I just think she's very confusing.
Yeah. And I also think that she probably thinks that she's the only intelligent person in the house, and others will not, catch up.
As if Ty and Kiefer don't exist.
Exactly. Like she would just say that all this was a play. My final two is you, Ty, and Ty would believe her in a second. Like, no, that's not how it works. So,
but so in addition to all of that, we also get this jury house segment, which I really didn't think was necessary for this episode, like at all.
So annoying. Yes.
Yeah, but we are still going to talk about
it. I love Veg. Yes.
Oh no, I love it.
Veg. I love getting to see them, but then this episode was not built for a jury segment, especially with so many things going around.
They should have waited till the
the jury segment is a week where not much is happening. That's when you do it. Like you do it at like final 5 or 4 when it's like pretty set in stone what's going to happen. You don't do it on a fucking double eviction episode.
No.
One.
Especially a fake double eviction.
Yeah.
Where there's so much to talk about. So this was not necessary at all. But then at least, let's talk about what happens in the jury house and how they are seeing the game.
Yeah. So we check in with Vic, and she says that
that's what she should be, but
not that, but we check in with Vic, and she says she's been reflecting on the bullshit in the house. Her alliance cut her because they knew she was going to win. But feels it's the right move and gives the full credit to Beth. Rose says he isn't surprised he's gone because people want to get rid of him a while ago, especially Kiefer.
Yeah.
Vic feels the trio were pretty much set for the finale. When Tina comes in, she's feeling very relaxed, and Vic says she's not surprised because Tina was very much coasting the whole game.
I mean, yeah.
When discussing who's playing the best game, Tina immediately says she thinks it's Kiefer because of both the comp wins and the great social game combined.
Which I think is something that we should remember when we get to the second eviction, because there's very much something that should have happened and it did not.
Yeah. Vic feels this is probably the best. What does that say?
Oh, it's supposed to say probably the thing, but I did not type that right.
Vic feels this is probably the thing that gets him in trouble. Vic says Beth is playing the second best game, and Rope says he finds her annoying, but she's smart and is using the boys to her advantage. He says
it was so funny to me when he's like, she's annoying, but I like her.
Oh no, yeah. Ro always thought she was kind of annoying.
Yeah, he's never liked her.
Yeah.
No.
I think the only time like he could have actually started to like her is when he got sent out.
Yeah.
True. But then do you think this jury would like look past Beth's bad social game and try to award her strategy? Do you think they would do that?
Like a very fair jury, which is good. I like seeing that.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem bitter at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do seem bitter.
Which I was a little bit surprised about. I thought maybe there'd be some more like animosity towards Beth just because she's had really bad jury management, but it doesn't seem like they're faulting her for it, which is interesting.
I think so.
Yeah.
He says he needs Braid to make a flashy move in order to vote for him in the end. They all agree they hope Jed is next.
Let's remember about that flashy move with Breydon because I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen, but yeah, this was a good jury segment. I like that we got to see where everyone's heads were at. Again, just the necessity of it did not need to be. Have it next week, not this week. Yeah, so
or this episode should have been at least a 90-minute episode. Then it would have
that it should have been a lot longer. Like the triple eviction episode that we hate talking about should have been the length of this episode. Definitely, because at least we would have had more stuff to talk about for sure.
Yeah.
It would have been one thing if they had a jury buyback, then I could have seen them doing like a jury segment, but it wasn't really a buyback. It was just, you're not actually out of the house yet. That's really all it was. So So Jed talks to Ty and Kiefer. Kiefer explains how much this win would mean to him, and Jed feels this is a really shitty way to repay him, and Kiefer says all he's doing right now is preaching loyalty to people, and I like that Kiefer was like straight up with him, basically saying that like Jed really hasn't been loyal to him here because they were willing to cut him last week, and that's true. Jed's the reason why Kiefer almost went home last week. And Ty says he's going back and forth with this decision all week. Jed says he's always put people ahead of himself in his life, and he wasn't going to stop here. And I like how upfront Kiefer was about this. And I do agree that, Jed should not have thought that Kiefer was just going to continue to work with him after this because Kiefer has that doubt in his mind.
I don't like Kiefer at all, but he is playing a pretty good game.
Same. Yeah, like from a personal standpoint, I think I would rank him the lowest. But then I can't stop but like appreciate his gameplay. Like he has done something which we have not seen in years. Like he has survived a backdoor. When was the last time we saw that? So
it's really impressive.
It is. But Kiefer and Tera are still the ones I don't like at though.
Oh yeah, I do think though, considering what Kiefer did there, and also what he does even in this eviction, I think he definitely if he's at the end, he deserves it for sure. And again, not a fan of him as a person, but his gameplay, he's killing it.
Yeah.
True. So yeah.
Anyway, we finally get to the eviction. After so many moments, we finally get to it. And once again, we should not be surprised. Breydon is safe by another unanimous vote. Jed is the first person evicted tonight. And we get this moment where Jed's about to leave and they're like, nope, you're not actually out yet. He goes into the secret room, very awkwardly edited, may I say, very awkwardly done the way it was handled. He was like, no, you gotta be kidding me. And he puts on headphones.
I was surprised with how calm he was when he saw that sign, that lady. I would have shouted at the top of my lungs, but then he was so calm about it.
Yeah.
That's very impressive of him.
I think he already felt really defeated over what happened. So this was just a strike of optimism. He's like, okay, maybe I have a chance, even though he doesn't really know what it actually entails.
Yeah.
But this first eviction vote, not a surprise. Like I said, I do not think Beth should have voted Jed out. I think that was a dumb thing for her to do. Again, even if the vote isn't like even if it's not in the majority, I don't think she would have been clocked for that. I think it would have been completely reasonable if she votes to keep Jed. Just again, just as a courteous thing, like he took her off the block and then she has the audacity to vote him out. Again, it's just, you're doing too much.
She shouldn't have done that.
It just makes her look more shady and more untrustworthy. So, so unnecessary, so over the top, so Beth, like.
Yeah. She's just so extra in like the worst ways.
Yeah. I can't wait if she makes it to final two, how she makes her pitch to the jury. I mean, if this is the way she's handling her gameplay, just imagine how she would say when she makes the final two.
Yeah, just every point, whoever's sitting next to her, she's like, no, that was my move. No, that was my move.
Yeah.
Arisa then makes the announcement to them that tonight is a double eviction. They don't really seem that fazed by it. And during the
really didn't. Not only Breydon was the one who was like, "Oh my god!" Everyone else was like, "Oh, okay."
Apparently, I was checking Reddit, and someone said that they started the eviction ceremony sooner than they usually do. So Beth apparently was talking to everyone that there might be a double, so they were prepared for it.
Yeah, they kind of had an inkling.
Yeah. During the second HOH comp, the house guests are given a who said what comp. However, the house guests are only given a clip and not the correct audio.
I fucking hated this competition. Can I just say right now, like it was. I love a good I love a good who said it. I love that comp, but I like it when it's the actual clip. I don't like it when it's dubbed audio of what they did not say. The worst dubbing possible. It was just
it didn't make sense. Like the dubbing didn't play.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they wanted to make it harder for them because of the fact that like they wanted to throw them off, but it was dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah. And it wasn't even that funny. The voiceover was not even that funny.
It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It was just very cringy.
Yeah. It wasn't even I get it. It was supposed to be sort of close to what they were saying, but it was just bad. It was really bad. It felt like one of those I think Disney Channel used to do this where they'd lip sync what they're saying, but it's not what they're actually saying. They did it with High School Musical. It felt like that. It was just don't do that. Not funny.
No. They then have to choose which day it happened. And Ty ultimately ends up winning the HOH.
Yeah.
So he really knows.
So fucking happy about
it. Same. He really knows his days.
Yeah, I was so happy that Ty ended up winning this HOH. He's come pretty close at some points, and I'm happy that he ultimately ended up pulling this one out because I think he also really needed it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. The only thing that sucks is that I feel like this HOH is going to be kind of contested if, let's say the person that he got out comes back in the house. People are going to be like, was this a real HOH? And that's the only thing that's unfortunate about this fake double eviction is do you actually take credit for this move because it didn't actually work out? So I thought that was interesting, but he gets right down to it and he pulls no punches here. He puts up Beth, and then he also puts up Tera, and I was pretty convinced he put up Tera as a pawn. At least that's what it seemed like he was doing, right? Tera's the pawn here, and I'm like, great. He's getting Beth out of the house. He's not falling for her bullshit. He realizes that Beth is someone that is just too much of a mess at this point. To me, this seemed like a very obvious move to just get Beth out because
agreed.
And also selfishly as a viewer, how amazing would it have been to watch Beth and Jed just duel it out? That would have been so fun to watch.
That would have been hilarious.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they had everything going on with it. I mean, Kevin, go on, but then I just can't wait to get at the bottom of it. Go on.
Yeah, but so during the veto, they all have to unknot tangled hair. Once they have enough slack, they are to crawl through the curler and hit the button. And after coming close so many times, Breydon wins the veto, and I literally was like screaming when he won because I have wanted him to win so badly. He's come so many close, so many times.
He's almost won so many comps, and then he finally won one.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, Breydon's won the veto. This is his chance. This is his chance to finally do something. This is his chance to finally make a move in this house, and he doesn't really do that. He chooses to not use the veto, and I did not understand this at all. I didn't understand why he did not use the veto because I felt like this was his big resume move. Because here's the thing. Yes, Tera put him on the block, but he was completely in the know of it. She did it basically just so he would be safe against Jed. Yeah. He knew that he wasn't going to go anywhere. I don't understand why he doesn't take Tera off the block at that point. And even at that, Beth is the one, correct me if I'm wrong, Beth is the one that was trying to get him on the block in the first place. Yeah. So, like, I really don't understand why he did this. I mean, I don't know. Pranay, what did you think of this move? Because this was so, like, confounding to me.
You know, like, when, especially with veto, because, like, the veto is such a delicate thing to handle in Big Brother. I feel so many people, when they use veto, we mostly see them not use it, and they give the excuse that they don't want to ruffle feathers. But for me, I feel this is like top 5. You don't have any room to ruffle feathers. And when you have power, then not only this is an added bonus to your resume, but then you can also solidify your trust with someone. When you're using your veto on someone, that person is legit going down with you. And like, if they win future vetoes, they will probably use it on you. So this was such a missed opportunity. You know what? I wouldn't even have cared if Breydon used it on Beth. Like, if he does that, he at least solidifies something with her. For me, use it. If you're not using it on Tera, then use it on Beth. Like, just solidify something with someone. Because right now, you probably think that you have a good thing with Kiefer and Tychon, but then you still probably are at number 3. And then this is the era of big moves, and you have nothing. So it didn't make any sense to not use the veto. And now let me come to the worst part of it all. The worst part is that Kiefer, the person who is legit going to win, and I don't know how self-aware these people are about Kiefer's, the way the jurors see Kiefer. I don't know whether they even know it or not. But then this was a shot where he could have literally forced Kiefer to sit on the block and maybe evict him.
Yeah, this was the time. This was the time to like snipe him.
Yes, agreed.
Any sense to me? Like, first of all, either take out Beth as the plan was, like to take out Jedson and Beth. Okay, you don't want to do it, then use it on Tera and maybe take out Kiefer.
Yeah.
Like, you taking out Tera, like, who has the least agency in the game and who probably has your back. I think Tera would have had Breydon's back.
Yeah.
This was
so too.
Like, I can't think of any explanation other than Breydon maybe feels very secure with Ty and Kiefer. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm confused. Help me out here.
Yeah, I mean, I said it on Twitter. Basically, like, this was Breydon's big chance to make a move, and I think after this, he's lost the game. I don't think there is any scenario at this point where he wins, and it's unfortunate because after Austin left, I said Breydon's in a really good position. You know, the way he was handling things with Vic and things like that. I thought he really was one of the top contenders to win, but after this, I just don't think it's happening. I think, unfortunately, we have to write Breydon off at this point.
He probably has to win all the remaining challenges from now on, and even I don't think that would be enough. I don't think that would be enough.
At that point, it feels more like he's trying too hard to, like, it's almost like what Beth is doing, where he's trying too hard to build that resume rather than it naturally happening. And here's the thing, even if he was going to use that veto, I don't think this was Ty's target. I don't think he wanted to get Tera out. So
I don't know.
Tera's the one that's evicted. I don't think that's what Ty wanted.
I don't know, like, what, because like maybe I think they don't allow. Yeah, I don't think they allow two conversations take place during the double eviction.
Oh,
So
they don't?
they didn't get to communicate. But then I don't know. I definitely Ty was like gesturing something to Breydon and Kiefer, and I don't know whether he was able to communicate well. Like, I would like to know what they were thinking. Like, did Kiefer and Breydon misunderstood what Ty said, or did Ty really want Beth to stay? I don't know what was going on. I want to know this strategy on Monday's episode. I can't wait for Monday's episode.
Oh yeah. We'll definitely get into that. But in terms of this, Tera ends up leaving unanimously, which I was not expecting. I really thought Beth was going to go here, and I was like, this, because it would just be amazing. It would be amazing to see those two duke it out. But she goes into this room with Jed, and basically the house guests are then notified what's going to happen. That this was a fake double eviction. You see Beth is getting really excited and things like that, which I would not be excited here, Beth. This is not good if Jed comes back in the house. Like, I would not be excited about this. You literally voted him out. But basically what comes of that remains to be seen, because they cut the episode off before we can see the actual competition. And they kind of did it to themselves because of the fact that they showed us this like pregnant and things like that we did not need to see. I think they easily could have shown the competition, but they just showed too much footage that we really did not need to see, because it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. But yeah, this is the first time I can think of in a while where I think non-feeders and feedsters will be on the same page, because the feeds, at least I think, are cut until Monday, which is insane.
True.
I actually like that. I like the fact that we don't know who's coming back in. I think I also think it's a big ratings move. I think it's definitely that too, because I've heard that the ratings have not been great for this season. So I think that's definitely the reason why they're doing it as well. But Pranay, what do you think about the fact that we didn't get to see the comp?
I mean, I can understand that. Like, from a television point of view, they just wanted a cliffhanger, so I can understand why they did it. But I somehow hope they release the live feed footage of these 3-4 days somehow sometime in the future, because like this is going to be bombastic. Like, whoever comes out, especially if Jedson is coming back to the house, I want to see what happens, the awkward interaction between him and Ty, him and Beth, and
that'd be so awkward.
And same with Tera. Like, if Tera is coming back, then I would want, because Tera has a fiery side to herself, and at the start of the season I wasn't her biggest fan, but then she did impress me as the season moved along, because she's very tenacious and she's self-aware, and she has been taking shots as much as she could. So and she's going to be pissed. She would need answers from Breydon and Kiefer. So we need these like raw footages, like what happens. So I'm really looking forward to it. And one more thing, like, I also wanted both of your opinions on this. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. Let's assume Jedson is coming back. In that hypothetical situation, do you think Kiefer is probably in the best spot? And here's why I think it to be, because Kiefer, Jedson knows that Kiefer did evict him because Jedson betrayed him first. So it's not that Kiefer did him dirty first. So I think if Jedson is coming back, his main target would be Ty, and even probably Breydon, because like Breydon is taking a spot away from him. So, and I don't know how he feels about that.
What do you think? Honestly, I think Kiefer is probably the one that, if Jed comes back in the house, he's the least upset at, because Kiefer was straight up with him. Kiefer's reasoning made 100% sense. I think the person that really is fucked is Beth, because they're really
I feel like he'd be more mad at Ty.
Yeah, I could.
Yes, I agree.
That too, though, because there wasn't an indication that she was going to vote him out, where it seemed like with Ty there was.
Yeah.
So
the only person who I think Kiefer needs to be aware of is probably Beth, because she is the only person who would try to cut him. I don't see Breydon cutting Kiefer now. I don't see Jedson if he comes back. I don't see Ty.
Yeah.
I don't know how Tera's relationship with Kiefer would be if she were to come back. So Kiefer is sitting pretty, and for Kiefer, he needs to take out Beth next.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, no, Beth definitely has to go soon. He recognized, especially this week, that like she was doing way too much. And I think at this point, she's a threat to basically anyone's game because anything you tell her, she's probably just going to go rat out to someone else. So like, and you just can't play with that for too much longer. Like there's no one at this point can preach loyalty to Beth. Nobody can say like, I feel 100% comfortable with Beth because she's not loyal to anyone at this point. She's just going to go rat it out to the other side because she so desperately wants that villain arc. And it's really not going to work for her. The one person I am unfortunately worried about is Ty. I will definitely say that. And it's mainly because he was HOH. I don't think he'll be able to compete in the next one. That remains to be seen if he's going to be able to, if they're going to count that as an actual HOH. I think if, let's say, Tera comes back in, I don't think he does. If Jed comes back, I'm not sure because does that week count? It was fake, you know? Like, I don't know if, yeah.
Also, like I forgot to mention this while we were discussing the Breydon move. Like I don't know whether you people noticed, but then Beth was second in that competition. She just like lost that veto comp just by seconds after
when I watched
Breydon.
it back, I noticed that. Yeah, she came so close.
What do you think happens if she wins? Of course, she's taking herself off the block, and who do you think Ty puts instead of her? Does Ty take a shot at Kiefer or Breydon?
I think Kiefer probably goes up because she convinces him like we have to do it.
Yeah.
So probably Beth winning would have been good for us. If she's not winning anyways, then at least like we would have at least have had Tera instead of Kiefer. So
it would have been far more entertaining than what we got, which was kind of nothing.
And also, like, if I were Tera, I would be so pissed because Tera literally felt that she has made top 5 when she won the HOH last week. So for her to win an HOH at top 6 and then have her placement be 6th, it is so devastating.
Yeah, it just didn't make any logical sense to go for Tera there. But we'll really just have to see what ends up happening within this fake double eviction. If it means anything, if it doesn't, I'm still trying to figure out if this was really the right thing to do. I personally do think, and a lot of people have said this, the first double eviction should have been the fake one, and this should have been the real one. I would have much rather liked to see Vic and Ro like compete against each other. That would have been epic. Like that, the two people that
I don't even think that this week needed a double eviction, fake or real. I don't think they needed it because they had enough drama with the whole Jedson using veto on Beth. That would have been an iconic episode in itself. They didn't need this. This was like, I mean, this is like BB Can, and we love BB Can, but then BB Can is very twist heavy. So this was not needed, but then it is what it is.
I mean, prior to what Breydon did, it was honestly like the best case scenario in terms of the fake double eviction. Like for a while, I was like kind of warming up to it, but then the second Bray made that move, I was like, this is why we don't fucking want this. Like, don't give us a fake double eviction because it doesn't amount to anything. It was pretty much what people expected, that like it was just gonna turn on to Tera, and unfortunately, that's what ended up happening. Again, does she come back? Does Jed come back? That we will, of course, have to see. But that's everything really.
Who do both of you want to come back? I want to hear that.
Honestly, I kind of want Tera to come back because I feel like if Jed comes back, then the trio is still together. It's not as interesting.
I think I'd prefer Jed to come back just because it'd be really funny.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, both the cases would be interesting for me. But you know what? As much as I would prefer Jedson coming back because of the drama, but I still think that Jedson would play this game for Beth. Whereas I don't know. I still think like Beth is like completely over him and like completely controlling Jedson. But then for that reason, I think I would have to agree.
I think she could reel him back.
Kevin.
I think she could.
Yeah, I would probably prefer Tera coming back and have a legit shot.
Because I don't even know who she'd go after at that point. Like, I feel like it'd be funnier if she comes back. Because, like, who knows, honestly. And Tera's not someone that, like, Tera has no loyalties. It's pretty clear she doesn't. So, like, it's interesting to see. Yeah, everyone's, like, expendable to her.
Her only loyalty was to Tina.
Pretty much, yeah. And now that Tina's gone, it's like, well, bets are off. But before we do wrap things up here, Pranay, I am going to give you a chance to give your outro, plug your socials, all that kind of stuff. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like, before I do that, I just, like, want to say, like, let's be appreciative of this season. Like, when else we have seen a season where we have seen blindside backdoor of Victoria. Then the next week we saw Kiefer getting saved by saving himself from a backdoor. And then we saw someone using their veto on someone else. Like, this is like all the good parts from different good seasons of Big Brother and then putting them together. So I'm really haven't had great reality shows. So BB Can 9 is.
Oh no, did he freeze?
Great, and we are it's Gypsy. Oh, did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze up for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Not me freezing when I'm, like, giving out my social media. Anyways, so feel free to follow me on Gypsy Pranay. It's right there. Like, I play lots of orgs with this amazing community, and maybe somehow in the future I will bring up my own game, and excited for that. Thank you for having me, both of you, Aly and Kevin.
Of course, this was a lot of fun having you on for sure. But with that, guys, that's really it for our review of this week's episode of Big Brother Canada. A lot to discuss. I don't think I've had a double eviction video that was this long before. But again, that speaks to how good this season was, that we have still a lot to talk about, even in a fake episode, one that we don't even know if it actually counts. But either way, very much enjoyed discussing. Of course, guys, comment down below. Let us know what you guys thought of this week's episode. We will see you guys in our next video, which Aly and I will be back for the Circle, I think, on Monday. Yeah, we're going to be on Monday for the Circle. So look forward to that. And we will see you guys for that. All right. Bye.